Hi guys, and welcome to masks. This is a very important section. It's the section that will lead you to work with videos and even motion graphics the way you would like. And you need to practice your hand, practice your visuals, and try always to perfect your methods and create your own. The project file for this section is working with masks. You don't need to open it now. You can open it at the end of the section and see exactly how we have done everything. We are going to start from scratch, import our videos, and start working on masks. So let's go ahead. Come to the project panel, right-click and import file. For this section, we need specific files. I want all the CAT files. That's one. And we need the rivers. So I press Ctrl, I get the rivers. And then, of course, we click Import to bring in the file. We can use the CAT 3316 to start our work. I'll click and drag and to create a composition from this video. So what are masks? Masks will mask your layer. It will show or hide certain parts of your layer. To create masks, use the Shape tools and the Pen tool. Let's start with the Shape tool here. And let's create a simple mask using the ellipse. First of all, if you don't select your layer, of course, you will be creating a shape here. So I will undo that. To create a mask, you need to select your layer and then click and drag to create a mask. For example, I'll click in the middle and notice that everything has disappeared because the only thing that are going to appear by default is what's inside the mask. So I press Shift and Control and drag out to create a perfect circle. If you remember, you can use the spacebar also to take it down or to move it around. So I'm going to put it over here. First thing you do after you create the mask is to click on the time indicator and scrub through to see if your subject that you are trying to mask or the area is always included within the mask. In our case here, we are cool, is no big deal. So you created a mask from the circle. Let's look at the shape layer here. We notice we have masks, and of course it's masks, so you can have very many. And we created mask 1. You can rename mask 1, you press enter, and you give it another name, for example, cat head. Okay? Rarely people rename them unless you have something complicated. Let's drill down masks, and you notice that you have 4 properties here that you can animate. Pretty interesting. And also you have here the attribute of the mask, which you can have add, subtract, and so on. We'll see that later. Now the first thing I want to show you is inverted. You notice that the mask that we have created is showing only what's inside the mask. So this is the contour of the mask, and inside, that's what we are going to see. But if you click inverted, you will see everything outside the mask. Make sense to you? Okay, that's very easy. Mask path here is the shape of the mask. In fact, it's a path, and you can animate that. You can come over and change the shape. I'll show you this now. You click on shape, and the top, left, right, and bottom are the coordinates of the mask within the composition. If you twirl, for example, you add the right here and you click OK, you notice that you distorted the mask a bit. So these are the coordinates of the corners of the mask. You can change the units here, which we usually never do. And you can reset the mask shape. You can reset it, for example, to ellipse if you like to. It's an ellipse already. So let's reset it to a rectangle. So click OK. It has turned it into a rectangle. I will get it back to ellipse. Here you are. Fine. Now, there is the mask feathering. The mask feathering will just feather the mask, meaning it will create a blurred area around the mask. You see how it's blurred? You can only get it positive outside the mask. So it's pretty cool like this. I've seen very many videos and movies that use this feature. You can also unlink it and feather on the horizontal here, or you can feather on the vertical only, depending on what you want to do. Okay? So I will undo this and keep it at that. There is the mask opacity. The mask opacity will play on the opacity of what's inside the mask. For example, at 0, you see nothing. Of course, it's 0 opacity. At 100, you see it at full opacity. Now, there is the mask expansion here. For this, I'm going to put the mask feathering to 0. You can expand your mask, meaning make it bigger. This is pretty useful if you use it with the feathering. Okay, guys? You can also shrink it. Here you are, inside. Okay, so this is all about mask. It's pretty easy. You put a mask and you can invert it or keep it the way it is, and you have the properties that later on we can start animating. Thank you for listening, and move on to the next lecture, more about masks.